Hi guys, I'm here just to show you my first version of Magic the Gathering Legacy Pox. Pox is a mono black control deck to be the most basic. And okay, let's start with the mana base. I have 25 lands, and here we have 4 wastelands, which are obviously just a staple of Legacy. They're a lot cheaper now since we got Eternal Masters reprinted. And yep, Wasteland can color screw your opponent over, or just generally keep them off lands. It's always very good. And unless they have a stifle, it hits pretty hard. Next we have Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, which will basically allow my Wastelands and my other colorless mana sources to tap for black when I need more black mana. I'm not sure if I need to run more than 2, but of course, having too many legendary cards in your hand causes you to have dead weight in your hand, even if you can discard them, I guess. Next, we have a single Maze of Ith, which I got from opening an Eternal Masters booster pack. And although this guy doesn't tap for mana, it can lock down like the biggest creatures. I guess they wouldn't help that much against Emrakul, but it always helps to not be eating a lot of damage, even if the attacking creature untaps. And with Urborg, it does tap for mana. Next, we have 4 Mishra's Factory, which is probably one of the main win cons this deck has. It only beats for 2 a turn, but you know, it's a control deck, and it will dodge your Pox and Innocent Blood effects, and other sorcery speed removal of your opponents if they want to use sorcery speed removal. Next, we just have 14 swamps. They don't die to wastelands, and they're swamps. And this is why the Pox decks, unless you plan to like splash colors, should likely be cheaper than other decks, which is a good reason to play it, I guess, unless you're willing to spend 22k on the deck. Next, we have 3 Tombstalkers, which are my other main threat of the decks. And some of you may want another Spear or Bloodghast, but you know, playing down a 5/5 fatty really accelerates the clock that you put on your opponent, even if he can be bounced and whatnot. And after that, we have 32 other spells, all to help us control the game. We have Funeral Charm, which is used in older versions of Pox decks, which can be used to discard a single card in their hand, pump your creature or kill a small creature, or just get past your creatures with your Swamp Walk, which coincides with our Urborgs. Next, we have Collective Brutality, which is a pretty strong card since you got 3 choices and you can escalate just by discarding cards. All 3 choices are pretty good, and the first and last ones are probably what you want in combo decks and burn decks. Next, we have 3 Innocent Bloods. Ultra cheap removal. Your own creatures don't usually die when you just need to use it to kill a creature. And yeah, it gets around protection effects like Mother of Runes and True Name Nemesis, which is great. And next, we have 2 Fatal Pushes. A lot of really good creatures in Legacy are converted mana cost 2 or less, so instant speed removal, it's really amazing. And the Revolt just makes it even better, 4 mana or less. So it will hit most creatures in Legacy if you can get the Revolt. Next, we have 4 Smallpox, which hits a lot of aggro decks really hard, so if they run 20 or less lands, and it hits their life just for 1, but it makes them discard a card, sacrifice a creature, and sacrifice land. Next, we have, okay, let's move on to our 3 Liliana of the Veils first. I got one of these from a gift, the other one for $40 back in 2013, and the third one I had to order for like almost $70. But TCG Player is a relatively good deal. So, yeah, this is the Modern Masters 2 Innistrad. You don't have to explain Liliana much. +1, it just hits your opponent's hand pretty bad if they're playing another control decks. -2, Edict is great. And -6, Fact or Fiction, your opponent's permanents. Hits pretty hard. Next, we have 3 Duress, or is that for, yeah, only 3 duress. And I guess it's questionable to use duress over like Inquisition of Kozilek or Thoughtseize. But you know, duress still has its advantages. I mean, it can take out a Jace the Mind Sculptor is probably like the main thing it can take out that Inquisition and Thought can't take out, or like one of those big miracle cards. I think that's why you'd want duress over Inquisition and Thoughtseize. And next we have 3 Dark Rituals, just very useful for getting like a him or and duress on the first turn, or just getting out a turn 1 Liliana, which makes a lot of decks. It puts you ahead of a lot of decks if you get it out and you're like on the play. Next we have Crucible of Worlds, obvious synergies with Wasteland, and you can replay your Maze of Ith if it gets nuked, and your Mishra's Factory. Crucible of Worlds. Next we have the original Mofo Pox as a singleton. I'm pretty sure most people don't even play 1 copy of it anymore, but it's still a pretty good card. But it's just pretty clunky at 3 mana and 3 black mana at that. It hits life really hard, like 7 life if your opponent's at 20, so, you know, it's pretty strong if it manages to resolve. Next we have 3 sinkholes, just more than destruction, you know? It destroys basics too. So if they're running basics and non-basics, kill the basics with sinkhole, non-basics with wasteland. Next we have Curse Scroll. You know, this is the funniest part of the deck. Like, when you're in top deck mode, you only have 1 or 2 cards in your hand, or like 2 cards, 3 cards with the same name. Use Curse Scroll, and you get a free shock, or for 3 mana each turn. It's great. Next we have Bontu's Last Reckoning, which is a board swipe. A lot of people will prefer Toxic Deluge, but you know, Bontu's can be really handy if you're like staring down a 5/6 Tarmogoyf or a 5/5 Knight of the Reliquary. I guess we also have main deck Extirpate, which is always useful as it hits anything with Split Second. And then last but not least, we have 4 Hymned Torak, just really great discard at random for only 2 mana. And that is my Pox version 1 at the moment. Hopefully it does well, and if it doesn't, I'll update the list very soon. And here's my incomplete sideboard. We have my Instant Blood and Funeral Charm, which I'm sure might come in handy against more creature heavy decks. And so does the Engineered Plague. It can wipe out a big board of like elves or something. 2 Pillininos, maybe I should have more. But yeah, it shuts down a lot of cards like Stoneford Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor. And we have Tormod's Crypt, 3 of them, which is just additional grave hate. I might need even more, like a Leyline or something, but Tormod's Crypt is still pretty good.